Good morning. Welcome to Holy Trinity Church in Juneau, Alaska. My name is Gordon Blue. Happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to today's sermon, which is intended to accompany our Sunday morning prayer service. Let the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our Maker and Redeemer. Thank you for joining us. This is the last Sunday of the Epiphany season. Shrove Tuesday is right ahead, and Lent begins the next day, Ash Wednesday. We have plans. On Shrove Tuesday, we plan to have pancakes for supper at 5:30. Bring your own pancakes to breakfast for dinner on Zoom. If you're working and you don't have time to make pancakes for the kids, let us know. If we can, we'll make pancakes for everyone. Let us know if you can help. We will make them and bring them over to you. You might have to warm them in the microwave if it's cold out. On Wednesday, we will live stream two Ash Wednesday services, one at 12:05 and one at 5:30. We'll also broadcast those services on FM 107.1. So if you live or park close enough to hear the service on our low-power transmissions, you'll know when to come past the front door of the church and get your ashes. We've been enjoying beautiful weather in Juneau this week. The brilliant sunshine glowing on the snow and turning all the shadows from somber gray to swimming pool aqua lifted spirits. The aurora had not a cloud to hide behind all night, and the day gained 2 hours of sun. True, the beauty that produced this elation comes at a cost. The temperatures dropped to a 10-year low, and the wind blew strong enough to freeze your eyes. It was perfect weather to sit in the window with Maisie the cat. Look at that view. But Bosun the dog is not so easily pleased. Such visual perfection must be walked about and given dimension and steps as well as changing sight lines. So Bo and I spent time playing the angles of topography to stay out of the wind, and we were rewarded with perfect walks. Now the temptation to stay sheltered up, because he could easily have hidden the view like a cloud, hiding the good news that was there, waiting just outdoors. I'm grateful to the deck boss dog, and that he's so insistent on walking out. His delight at bounding over the landscape always lightens my heart, even on a dreary day, and because we were walking out into visual perfection, my light-starved soul has been singing for days. So reading Paul's second letter to the church at Corinth, that glowing perfection of creation, the gospel of creation, now reflects new light and meaning. Even if the gospel is veiled, he said, if our gospel is veiled, it is veiled to those who are perishing. In their case, the God of this world has blinded the minds of the unbelievers to keep them from seeing the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God, the God who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," who has shone in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus Christ. Let light shine out of darkness. We are now at the end of an age. The light who has shone in our hearts said, "It is end times once again." The petroleum age is ending. not as we might have expected from exhaustion of supply, but from the byproducts of success. The release of so much atmospheric carbon is creating havoc. The idea it can be ignored is killing us. It's a deadly idea, and it's an idea that is dying. It's better to die for an idea that will live, wrote Steve Biko, than to live for an idea that will die. An economic dominion dies hard. It's like a beast thrashing in its agony, and it's dangerous to be around. Absurdity writhes in its throes. Its servants are gaslighting the obvious, upholding evil and blinding minds. What seems to be a symbol of its domination is in fact a symptom of its passing. The good news is veiled to those who are perishing. Let light shine out of darkness. Now, in the gospel, Jesus took with him Peter and James and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves, and he was transfigured before them. The light was dazzling. It was like the New Year's sun blazing on the snow. Perhaps it was the snows of Hermon near Caesarea Philippi. Maybe it was Tabor in the neighborhood of Nazareth. They were alone there, Jesus and Peter and James and John. Later, 3 would be killed in the writhing of the beast. But one, John, thought to be the one Jesus loved, lived an unusually long life. He lived in the tradition to write the gospel and the 3 letters bearing his name. In the tradition, he lived to write the book of the Revelation in isolation at Patmos. He lived finally to be buried at Ephesus, some say, or not at all, say others, but to ascend. To ascend like Elijah, to ascend like Moses in some teachings, to ascend without witness, which was unlike the resurrected Jesus, who ascended with lots of witnesses. This day, they were alone together. Jesus, Peter, and the brothers, John and James. They were alone on the remote height, and then there appeared to them Elijah and Moses, who were talking with Jesus. "It's good," said Peter, although they were terrified. "Let me make each of you a tent, or a cabin, or a cell perhaps, to capture the moment, like the picture of this scene in your mind." But they did not stay. A cloud swallowed them, and they were gone. But those men, the 4 men, they were not alone again. A voice from the cloud said, "Jesus is my son, the beloved. Listen to him." They were not alone again. Never again, it would seem, after that. That voice from the cloud was no candle in the wet darkness. It was not a thing veiled and perishing. It was not brief and soon to disappear, like the visit of the prophets. It was not a candle. It was not perishing, but a fire. It was a flame quietly burning as they descended the mountain, burning in the quietness of their hearts, quiet until after the Son of Man rose from the dead. Sometimes the light dazzles, blinding like sun on snow. Sometimes it's soft like the aurora, like a candle in the night. Yet it is not a candle. The light that shone in their hearts. The light shining in ours is a flame burning at the end of the age. You can blow out a candle, but you can't blow out a fire, sang Peter Gabriel. Once the flames begin to catch, the wind will blow it higher.